Our homes are typically the only places where we may feel at comfort and isolated from the outside world, at least until a stranger or something outside comes in without our will. I've condensed 3 extremely lengthy, purportedly true home invasion stories that I found online and made them available for you to hear today. Enjoy. 19-year-old Damian Andrews was a single child who led a somewhat predictable routine. Each Friday, after his last class on campus, he embarked on a journey to his part-time job at the local gas station. The clock would tick for 6 hours as he diligently served customers and handled the various tasks that came with the role. After his shift, Damian would drive back to his parents' house, a place that typically stood empty on weekend nights due to his parents' frequent outings for a night of revelry and drinks. One Friday evening, as Damian's car pulled into the familiar darkened driveway, he was ready to complete his routine. His bike, still nestled in the trunk of his vehicle, awaited its return to the shed at the back of the yard. Unloading the bike and heading towards the shed, Damian's eyes caught a glimpse of a soft glow emanating from the upstairs bathroom window. Perplexed, he couldn't recall leaving that light on earlier in the day. Perhaps one of his parents had decided to stay home this time. With a curious blend of caution and intrigue, Damian stepped inside the house through the back door. An instinctual urge to call out for his parents welled up within him, but something held him back. An unexplainable feeling gnawed at him, suggesting that perhaps silence was the better course of action. Ascending a half-flight of stairs from the den to the middle of the house, Damian was met with a dimly lit corridor that led to the upstairs area. As he gazed up the short stairwell, he couldn't help but notice the faint illumination seeping out from beneath the closed bathroom door. Calling out for his parents as he ascended further, Damian found himself receiving no response, which struck him as odd given the close proximity of the bathroom. His intuition told him that someone had to be in there, and so he ventured closer, gently knocking on the door as he repeated his calls. Silence persisted. Locked from within, the bathroom door seemed to be the only barrier separating Damian from the source of the mysterious light. He reasoned that his mother might be indulging in a relaxing bath, perhaps oblivious to his arrival. The locked door reinforced this notion, and Damian settled on the idea that his mom was simply enjoying her solitude. Just as Damian was about to descend the stairs to answer a phone call from his inebriated father, something caught his attention. The dim light filtering through the crack beneath the bathroom door seemed to cast an eerie pattern of shadows on the hallway floor. What he saw next sent a chill down his spine. A pair of feet, positioned squarely by the door, their presence unmistakable in the soft glow. As the puzzle pieces rearranged themselves in Damian's mind, his father's voice crackled through the phone, revealing a startling truth. His mother was not at the table as his dad claimed. She was, in fact, absent from the house. Panic surged through Damian's veins as he hastily disconnected the call and dialed the police. Huddled in the bushes outside, Damian anxiously awaited the arrival of law enforcement. He strained his ears against the darkness, the minutes stretching on as his heart raced. Finally, the distant sirens pierced the quiet night, drawing closer until they echoed through the front yard. Yet, when the authorities combed through the house, they discovered an emptiness that mirrored Damian's initial suspicion. There was no intruder to be found. Edward Gallo, a 24-year-old residing in a tranquil corner of rural Virginia, relished the solace of his newly acquired home. Eager to share these peaceful moments, he often extended an invitation to his girlfriend Sarah, who would spend weekends basking in the serenity of the countryside. Their bond was strong, the weekends a cherished respite from the demands of daily life. One Friday evening, Edward's attempts to reach Sarah yielded only silence. Growing increasingly concerned, he left her a voicemail, his worry mounting with each unanswered call. Puzzled by her lack of response, he cast aside his unease, assuming that perhaps she was preoccupied or facing technical difficulties. Yet, the unsettling silence that enveloped him stirred a sense of unease that lingered. Persistent in his pursuit of contact, Edward's relief was palpable when his phone finally buzzed to life. The caller ID revealed Sarah's name, a beacon of reassurance amid the uncertainty. The tension melted away as he eagerly answered the call, eager to reconnect with his beloved. However, the words that tumbled from his lips were halted by an unexpected revelation. As he inquired about her whereabouts, confusion intertwined with apprehension. Her response was marked by a disconcerting truth. She was still at work, her absence from home a stark reality that cast a shadow over Edward's previous conviction. The realization sent a shiver down his spine, and the pieces of a disconcerting puzzle began to align. The creak of a door closing downstairs punctuated the silence, dispelling Edward's rising fears in an instant. A sigh of relief escaped his lips as he attributed the sound to Sarah's arrival. He promptly texted her, urging her to join him upstairs. A pause, brief yet ominous, was succeeded by a procession of eerie sounds emanating from below. Footsteps echoed, each step measured and deliberate, a creeping sensation that coiled around Edward's senses. With trepidation he waited, eyes fixed on the staircase as it bore witness to Sarah's ascent. The pace of her ascent was oddly measured, each step deliberate and calculated. The seconds stretched into an eternity, the air laden with suspense. A sense of foreboding descended upon Edward, prompting him to call out to her. The steps ceased, and silence once again enshrouded the space. In a bid to quell the rising tide of unease, Edward's hand retrieved his phone from his pocket. The caller ID revealed Sarah's name, a paradox that sent his heart racing. The conflicting emotions swirled as he answered the call, his words colliding with Sarah's explanation for her silence. An inexplicable chill coursed through his veins as the truth unfurled before him. The figure on the stairs was not Sarah. The urgency in his voice resonated through the receiver as he urged the intruder to leave. A last-ditch attempt to preserve his sanctuary. The footsteps retreated, receding into the depths of the night, leaving behind an unsettling void. Edward's gaze drifted beyond the confines of his home, drawn to a chilling sight. A figure draped in darkness stood across the road, its malevolent gaze fixed upon Edward. Despite the distance that separated them, the aura of malevolence was unmistakable, a grin etched upon features that seemed more nightmare than reality. Before his eyes, the figure dissolved into the encompassing woods, a specter retreating into the depths of the unknown, leaving Edward to grapple with the sinister riddle that had intruded upon his haven. In a secluded farmhouse, 16-year-old Ted shared his days with his father and younger brother. Nestled amidst the sprawling landscape, their abode stood as a bastion of privacy, shielded by the embrace of trees and the embrace of nature itself. With a barn and open fields, the property presented an idyllic haven that most would envy. One day, Ted returned home from a friend's house on his bicycle, pedaling along the long driveway that connected their sanctuary to the outside world. Guiding his bike into the barn, Ted's thoughts were fixated on his imminent entrance to the house. Yet, a peculiar sight disrupted his trajectory, the basement doors, wide open and beckoning. Perplexed, Ted halted his steps and examined the yawning entrance to the depths below. Unsettled by the unusual sight, he wondered if his younger brother Andrew might have been responsible. Convinced it was his siblings' doing, Ted determined to rectify the situation, shutting the basement doors and descending into the dimly lit space. The basement, a realm of shadows and memories, greeted Ted with silence. Fumbling for the light switch, he was met with an eerie sight, the absence of illumination. Ted's voice echoed through the subterranean chamber as he called out to Andrew, who promptly answered from the floor above. Andrew's hurried footsteps signaled his descent, and as the light flickered on, his brother's gaze fell upon him. A strange odor hung in the air, but Andrew dismissed it. Ted questioned him about the basement doors, only to be met with vehement denial. Andrew adamantly proclaimed his innocence, insisting he had not ventured into the basement. Doubts clouded Ted's thoughts as he navigated the murky terrain of possibilities. Could someone have intruded into their sanctuary unnoticed? The unsettling notion that their home had been breached cast a dark cloud over the siblings' minds. They embarked on a thorough search of the basement, determined to uncover any hidden truths that might lie in wait. Yet despite their efforts, the enigma persisted, refusing to relinquish its secrets. Andrew attested to his presence in the living room all evening, negating any possibility of an intruder's ascent. Ted's sense of assurance gradually returned as he absorbed his brother's reassurances. Taking a moment to rest on the basement couch, he switched on the television, ready to unwind. A strange sensation tingled through his fingers as he rested them on the couch's cushions. Curiosity piqued, Ted lifted one of the cushions, only to have a bone-chilling scream escape his lips. Before him lay a horrifying tableau. A lifeless body concealed beneath the cushions, its presence a macabre revelation that shattered the illusion of safety. Ted's world turned upside down as he grappled with the reality that their closest neighbor, George, had met a grim fate, hidden beneath the very fabric of their daily lives. In tandem with the authorities, Ted and his family pieced together a disturbing puzzle, one that offered more questions than answers. The unsettling truth remained. The culprit behind these heinous acts continued to elude capture, leaving a community haunted by fear and uncertainty. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed today's scary stories, consider subscribing and dropping a like on the video. If you have any ideas for what stories you would want to hear next, feel free to drop a comment below. Stay sleepless.